Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Gabby Wendy reveals what it's like to be going public with fiance Eric.
Oh my gosh, having him here was amazing. Just like me being excited to perform for him and him to see a different side of me that we don't get to share with each other, every day. And then this last week has been honestly like a dream come true. I feel like I'm on cloud 9.
And Clayton and Susie split. Rachel reveals where she stands with Aven, and Peter and Kelly are back together. Plus, we break down all the highs and lows from the season premiere of Bachelor in Paradise. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly Deputy Editor Sarah Heron. And Sarah, welcome to Paradise.
We're in paradise, if that's what you want to call it.
Right.
We're in Dancing with the Stars mode with Gabby. We're in paradise.
Yes, we're all over the place.
So many people who I have not heard of or seen in so long. We have a lot to talk about with Paradise.
I'm like, who are these people? I've never seen you before in my life, but
reminding us of their worst qualities, by the way, like so many of them, those intros, I was like, girl, reinvent yourself. Don't bring up the IBS hunter.
Oh, awful. But before we get to all of that, before we get to all the news of the week, a lot of people had, of course, a lot of things to say about last week's finale, which seems like a lifetime ago at this point as well. But yeah, a lot of people had a lot to say about Rachel and Tino.
Wow, I can't believe that was only a week ago. Victoria did have a lot to say. She said, I found it really upsetting that the producers allowed Aven to come on stage with Tino standing there not knowing what to do. It was extremely awkward and probably hurtful for Tino. And despite his indiscretions, he is a human being and he has feelings as well. That was just rude and tacky in my opinion. Just another example of how Bachelor Nation will walk all over people's feelings to get ratings. I feel Rachel is very insecure and was not ready to be the Bachelorette. Her communication style seriously needs work. She is a terrible listener and tends to shut people down.
Yikes. Tell us how you really feel. And then Linda says, I'm not happy Tino was humiliated, but I don't feel bad for him either. After Rachel, he'll do the same thing to another girls in the future. Then we'll feel bad for her. So I think now he learned and wouldn't do it again. Yeah, a lot of people, there was a lot of mixed feelings about, was Bachelor producers right of sending Aven out to humiliate Tino? He still hasn't spoken out about it, which I find interesting as well.
Super interesting. And I think that Rachel, did a lot of press about it and has said that Aven didn't know that this was going to happen this way. And that has been, I believe that Aven didn't, call up and say like, let's get Tino. Like, I do believe that Aven's intentions were, one, the producers are asking me to do this. I like Rachel enough. Let's maybe stir the pot a little bit, give her a little bit of a happy ending, let her end on a positive note. I don't believe he signed up for like, let's, embarrass Tino on stage. Yeah. However, could he not see Tino? Like, when was he pushed? Like, I don't understand how that part happened. I know it was live television, but in what world do you not know exactly what you're walking into just because you have eyes and can see what's happening on stage?
Right. I'm sure you're watching it backstage. You know that Tino is still there. It's not like they pulled you from like the parking lot and just ran you inside. Right. Like you knew what was going on. So,
and this was what she told, this is what Rachel told Entertainment Tonight specifically. In that moment, I was obviously very confused. That was not Aven's intention. He was also not under the impression that was ever going to happen. We do not condone bullying of any sort or humiliation. I'm sure Tino felt horrible. I don't want to obviously make him feel like that regardless of what happened in our relationship. I really don't know where the timing of it all happened, but it was not Aven's intention. And I know that.
I don't know. I know that you kind of recapped and watched like all of her post-show interviews. You were doing the hard work for us all. I mean, what did you kind of make of her post-show and where do you think that she and Aven stand today?
I don't think her and Aven stand anywhere. I think it was certainly a gimmick isn't necessarily even the right word, but kind of a gimmick in a way to turn, recreate that Hannah Brown, Tyler Cameron magic that the show really thrived on for headlines for months and took us through COVID. And it was a great live TV moment also because Jed wasn't there and no one could feel bad for Jed, and Tyler Cameron is really smooth and it's hard to pull that off. So I don't think there's really going to be anything happening with Aven and Rachel, if I'm being honest. But one thing I did take away a lot from her interviews, and I feel like I had more sympathy for Rachel. I think she benefits from, and this isn't an insult to her because live TV is difficult. And she was sitting next to the guy who wronged her and she was fired up and he was talking in circles, and I totally get it. But both of them did a poor job communicating on that live portion of the show. And I think during her longer form interviews, especially with like Michelle and Becca Kufrin and people she feels comfortable with, chicks in the office, like other women who she was talking to, I learned a lot more. Like Tino was very inconsistent in his story to Rachel. The first time he told her the story, they kissed in the car. The second time he told her the story, it was at the bar. One time he told the story, he didn't tell her she was engaged. The next time the girl was shocked to find out like he was engaged. Like he gave her plenty of reasons to doubt their relationship and his story specifically and what he cared about post story and like his image. And I think that would have meant a lot more to learn for the audience to be like, oh, this was slimy versus like these cryptic, what were we fighting about? And like her wanting these answers that he was never going to be able to give her. If she just explained more her side of the story and like not aired their laundry, but just gave us more of the facts. Like instead of like accusing him on stage of not giving her the facts, it's like you had them, you just didn't tell us them. Like maybe she wanted him to say it, but I feel like she articulated herself much better in these longer interviews, and I felt for her. And I feel like more girls would be like, oh, that's red flag if he's lying about the story where he cheated.
Yeah, we just needed more context, and I feel like when she was given a longer form platform, she was able to do that. And of course, ABC is like, okay, we have to jam this all in 5 minutes or a 5 to 7 minute segment, and you can't do that. We can't get all the facts, but. We'll have to see what happens with her. I wonder if this is, she did say, I think on on Kelly and Ryan that she would never do the Bachelorette again, but who knows, maybe she'll be back in paradise in a couple of years.
I know. But she did say she was ready to date. She was very like on every interview, they all kind of ended like, well, time to take a break or whatever. And she was like, no, like I believe in love. I'm ready to date. Like, why would I let, I think she really is over it. And I think because we know also the timeline was interesting to find out that conversation between them happened for the week of Men Tell All, which was in, I guess that was early September, August or early September.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. So it wasn't, it wasn't all that long ago.
Right. But she, closed that chapter and she might not be on our TV screens, but she's like, she said the DMs are open. So
yeah. Well, another chapter that just recently closed, right? For Clayton and Susie.
1 month after our guy Clayton and Susie revealed they were moving to different states, which I think we both knew was a red flag.
Yep.
They have officially pulled the plug on their romance. Their joint statement read in part, "We understand that there will likely be a lot of questions about this decision. Social media is definitely a highlight reel, and much of our experience together we have kept private, as I'm sure most can understand. But we will share this. Although this last year together has brought us so much joy and so many laughs, there has also been a significant amount of pain. We know no healthy relationship comes without its struggles, but we've realized that we are not prepared for the external forces that hindered our ability to not only heal as individuals, but also as a couple. We are both focused on continuing to work on ourselves, and so we can be the best versions of ourselves."
I was kind of sad about this one.
I know. I mean, the moving to different states thing, I know they tried to downplay it and make fun of it, but like that made absolutely no sense to me. We talked about that at length. Like there was a lot of ways around if they didn't want to live in Virginia Beach together or what the next steps were. And for him to even openly like kind of say it publicly was weird to me too. But this clearly says that like they did a good job making us think they were goofy and fun and loving life on social media, which we fell for when clearly they never, I don't think, to me, this reads like they never got over the show.
No, it seems like they never got over the show. They never got over the public backlash or the public hate that they received on social media as well. It seems like when they said that they were not prepared for the external forces that hindered their ability to heal, I think it was probably...
You just said that beautifully.
Thank
right
you,
off the tongue.
But yeah, no, I feel like they just, the pressures from the show and a lot of people hating on their relationship. Even if you remember the first episode of this season of The Bachelorette, where they made that song about Clayton sucks, it's just like, how much more can these people take? And I think it's just, they realize that they're probably better off as, friends. I don't know. I feel bad.
I do too. And I also think they needed, Clayton has said numerous times, like he doesn't know where he would be if he didn't have Susie to help him through all of this. So like they got back together shortly after the season wrapped. So all through it airing, they were in each other's lives through the backlash, through the premiere of where he was brought up again. So I think that maybe their whole lives were also consumed by the show. Like they had to kind of work each other through it. And now that it's over, they realize that was what they were there for each other for, kind of.
Right.
I don't know.
No, that makes total sense. But who knows? Maybe they'll get back together like Kelly and Peter. This
Mind blown.
Crazy. A source exclusively told Us Weekly that they are full on back together. They rekindled their romance over this past summer and have been spending a lot of time together since then. He has been planning fun dates with her. And they have been having a lot of fun together. And a source tells us that Peter wants to be in a serious, committed relationship, and his feelings for Kelly never went away. They're both happy and looking forward to where things go this time around. I seriously can't believe this.
I know. Well, because Kelly was she picked and chose when she spoke about him, but she did do a few interviews that were okay. She was he's not mature enough. I think just in May, the interview she gave on Talking It Out with Brian and Mike Johnson, who we'll get to in a second, was very much he's not someone I see as a husband. The qualities that I look for in someone who I want to rely on, like my brother and my dad, I don't see in Peter. We had fun, but that's all it was. So part of me thinks Peter heard that. Yeah. And Peter was listen, after I was the Bachelor, we jumped into this, and guess what? I did get a lot of attention. There was a lot. Maybe I didn't handle it well. It was hard to balance party pilot Pete Bachelor, F-boy Bachelor, and dating Kelly. I think that he did a bad job, and she called him out and was what the hell? And then maybe he woke up one day and he was guess what? I'm 7 bachelors ago. Right. I need to get it together. Kelly and I did have a good thing going, and I messed it up, and I'm going to prove to her that I can be husband material. And I can only imagine that they are pretty serious about it to go back. And they're not being very public about it either. I mean, we had the soft launch at Tyler Cameron's gala where they were seen dancing together and things like that. But they really are not making this, making a public statement about it, being very public on social media, which they were the first time around. But I need to know if he threw out his Pokemon cards, because I think that was a big point of contention the last time around. His Pokemon cards. That is the exclusive I am chasing.
I need to know. But hey, as long as they're happy. Barb has not commented either, so we'll have to wait for that one.
Oh, so true. What is Barb thinking right now? Oh my God. Well, fingers crossed that we get more answers and that Barb comments something on Instagram that she thinks is a DM or something. Moving on to another, I don't think potential couple, but I'm not totally sure what's happening with Mike Johnson, who I just mentioned, and Meghan King, formerly of the Real Housewives of Orange County. They looked cozy at the 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas on Friday, September 23rd. But the former Real Housewife insists they're just here for a good time. She said, "We're just having fun," via her Instagram stories after their recent strip club outing made headlines. Yeah, they weren't just on the carpet being whatever they were at the strip club. Very strange, eating quesadillas and tequila. A source told us they acted like no one else was around them. Meghan was sitting on Mike's lap for the majority of the night. He was very touchy-feely with her. What do you think?
I don't know. They did a podcast together. So obviously this ties back to something. Yeah. And, they talked about how they were set up through, I guess, their PR company, something like that. And they really did hit it off. She said that he treated her like a queen, and they, said that they kissed and things like that. But I don't know. I think this is just a one-off, let's promote my podcast thing.
Yeah. Meghan King, listen, if you're not familiar with her, Bachelor Nation has gone through many a phase post her divorce from Jim Edmonds. And Jim Edmonds ended up being the worst. Don't fault her for that by any means. And she's got young kids. But we had the Cuff Owens, Joe Biden's nephew marriage. We had the Never Gonna Talk About My Public Life Again because of Jim Edmonds and Cuff Owens. We've had several podcast relaunches. And now we have this, dip her toes into Bachelor Nation. And Mike Johnson, listen, I love Mike Johnson, but we don't talk about him that often. So this is good for him as well. He hasn't been on TV in a long time either. But it just feels, it's so inauthentic to have the second you've ever even met be documented, not only on TMZ, on a red carpet, on a podcast. Pick one. It just seems a little thirsty and desperate for me. I don't know. Yeah. Not a good look. All right. Well, let's move into our Bachelor talk. And we caught up with Gabby, who opened up about what life has been like since making her relationship with Eric public. We caught up with her at Dancing with the Stars. And of course, Eric made an appearance this week. So take a look. What has this past week been like for the both of you now that you are out in the open and in public?
Oh my gosh, having him here was amazing. Just me being excited to perform for him and him to see a different side of me that we don't get to share with each other, every day. And then this last week has been honestly a dream come true. I feel like I'm on cloud 9. It's so cheesy.
I don't know. She seems like they're very much in love.
I'm rooting for them. I definitely am rooting for them. I think Gabby's post-show interviews, we talked about Rachel's, have been very funny. She's, has not been afraid to address the hard stuff like the blackface photo, but she also has, poked fun of the text messages with the ex and been I would have probably done the same thing. And then being he, and like the ex being like, she'll learn, and Gabby being like, will I, like joking, like, she takes everything with such stride, and all her Dancing with the Stars interviews just kill me. Like when Alfonso Ribeiro asked her a question 2 weeks in a row now, like she doesn't answer it. She's like, oh, well, like I'm so happy she's on my TV screen, and they seem, I really think that they have a chance. They have a chance.
I do. I feel like they have a chance too. And everybody always says, like, after Dancing with the Stars, if you go from Bachelorette to Dancing with the Stars, it's like a curse. But I feel like I don't know. I really do. I really like them. I feel like they have like a good foundation so far. We'll see. And they were able to overcome some hurdles, early on in the beginning of the relationship. So we'll see how it plays out. But let's break down. We are into paradise. We've been waiting for this for so long, and it is finally here. So let's break down our premiere of Bachelor in Paradise. But I have to say, Sarah, I really didn't recognize a lot of people on my TV screen.
I mean, the intro packages, besides like your Michael A, sorry. Andrew Ross didn't even get an intro package, which I thought was strange because he's like low-key the star, I feel like. Yeah. But Michael A, other than that, a lot of these girls, like I did meet them. Your Haley, your Hunter. I was like, who? I was Googling Kira.
Right, Kira. I still don't know what season she was on.
No, I was like Googling them all and trying to follow it. It was so interesting to me, and it seems like a lot went down that we didn't see. I don't know where you want to start.
I don't know. I like kind of just put like a list of things that were happening in order. I mean, I guess we could start with Shanae. A lot of people were not happy that she returned to the beach, rightfully so. I mean, she caused quite a stir on Clayton's season, but she went right in there with the Tarzan kiss, and she and Jacob seemed like they hit it off right away.
Yeah, listen, Shanae is going to thrive in paradise. I know we say every time we don't want to see these people anymore, and I think she actually was accused of some pretty not so great things with Elizabeth and the ADHD, and she did double down at Women Tell All, so probably not great to give her platform again, but I think Shanae is going to be entertaining. I think she's going to be what we wanted Queen Victoria to be last season. I think we've seen in just the premiere, Shanae is going to be over the top and ridiculous, and Jacob is naked the whole time. So these two make sense.
It totally makes sense. Another love connection that I think probably actually might go all the way is Serena and Brandon. They both had hearts for eyes as soon as they set sight on each other.
What do we not know? Because he walked down the beach and immediately went for her, which I respect, because a lot of times these relationships that get off to a rocky start but end going all the way is because they play so coy in the beginning. Right. So I respect Brandon. I love Brandon. I think he's so cute. Serena's beautiful. They are giving Joe and Serena. It's so clear that they feel like they're going to be there the whole time. I mean, by the end of the episode, they were already doing the thing where they were recapping who's connected. They didn't even have to question it anymore. And I was like, oh, we're locked in with
We're here. Yeah.
But I feel like they had to have talked. That happened so fast.
They had to have had some conversations beforehand and knew that they were going to meet up or continue the conversations that they were having. There's no way that you just have that strong of a connection that early on.
Absolutely not. And that's fine. But in what world are we then mad at everything that happened last season?
Right. That's so true. It's so true. It's
if they spend this whole season all together and don't fight about anything really, and they're whatever, they wanted the free vacation too. Yeah. And that is hypocritical. Where's the Paradise Police now?
Yeah. Where's the, yes, bring them back. And
but also I ship.
Right. I totally ship. And then this Romeo, Kira and Jill thing, like I said, I've never seen Romeo. I've never seen Kira in my life.
No, and I only kind of remember Jill from Clayton.
Yeah, kind of.
Mostly because she live tweeted a lot of Gabby and Rachel stuff because she's really close to Rachel specifically. Okay. So when I was doing the roundups in the morning, that's kind of how I got more familiar with Jill, and she's pretty funny on Twitter. Yeah. But yeah, clearly Romeo was talking to both of them. He admitted in his 2 months after Michelle's season, he was living life. Yeah. I guess he wasted no time sending the DMs, and I think he had a good thing going with Jill, but then he kissed Kira in some club. And then he seems like on the beach he wants to date Jill, but Kira seems confused. So I think they're going to blame each other, but it seems like Romeo's the one we should be mad at.
Yeah, Romeo is definitely the one that we should be mad at. I mean, I guess Jill was mad that Kira stole her drink, but
that was why. That was so weird.
So weird. Stole her drink and her man.
The drink was, I guess, sitting on the table, but still, in what world wouldn't it have been Jill's? Why would it? Even if it was not Jill's and some random, does she think the Paradise Fairies left that drink there for her?
Right,
why are you drinking it for someone else?
Especially in the age of COVID. Don't just be grabbing everybody's drink.
Also, not shaming Kira, but she came in real hot with the desire to get into the boom boom room and then ended up twisting Casey's nipples.
Yes.
A lot going on with Kira.
A lot going on with Kira. She's definitely one to watch and may give Shanae a run for her money. Not surprising, Michael A., hot commodity.
I mean, everybody wants the Zaddy Michael A.
Yep.
He, as Jesse Palmer pointed out, he's been in the gym. It's so interesting because it's his, it's been almost 2 years since Katie's season, I guess, or a year, but like since they filmed it. So his son is like 6 now. He was 4 when he left the first time. It's so interesting that he's there just because like Michael A feels so above this, but also like let Michael A live. He's had a hard couple of like years with his wife dying, and I love him. And I'm glad that so far Sierra is the one he's kind of gravitated towards, because you're Haley, you're Hunter, and whoever else is interested in him. Maybe not Hunter. I think she might have been with someone else, but Haley and whoever else, it felt young, and he kind of joked about that. But Sierra seemed to be mature enough to at least that conversation was nice. But I don't think it's forever for those.
I don't think it's forever either. But I hope he leaves with somebody. I'm rooting for Michael A. I think everybody is.
I hope they don't get engaged though, because I don't like when the single parents get engaged without the kid. It freaks me out.
That is very, very true. Andrew and Teddy, they seem to hit it off right away as well, falling in love already.
Another one who definitely, I don't know if they've met, but they were both citing each other in interviews. So smart on Andrew to go and ask Teddy right away, not beat around the bush, because she would have definitely been pissed since they clearly had a plan, or not a plan, but knew they cared about each other or were interested in each other. Super cute. I feel like it's going to be maybe like an Abigail situation where they're in the background and like implode, maybe for real, or just like because the show and then make up. I don't know, but I feel like we're going to see them pretty consistently throughout the season, but I don't know if it's going to end well on the show, at least.
I don't think so either. And speaking of things that probably won't end well, is Lace's time on Bachelor in Paradise.
I love Lace.
I do
so
too.
Much. I don't know if it was just because I remembered her and like the Grant, and as I bring up the Grace tattoos, whenever I have a chance, I thought she was hilarious. I thought, way to not respect your elders, the women who were like, it's been 6 years. Like, that's what this is built on. There would be no Bachelor in Paradise season 8 if there wasn't season 3 with Lace and Grant being insane. So here for her. Her line about her birthday was just iconic.
Really was. I did feel bad that Logan didn't remember her name.
Tough.
That was tough. Loose.
That was tough. And Logan is just like, you could tell he was like in another, like he had no interest in her. He was like, oh, birthday cake, fun.
Screen time, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it should be interesting. I love it. And also I love how Lee said that this is the most boring season ever so far.
So much fourth wall breaking, very meta, like poking fun at their own scandals, her calling it a season, not even just a group of people. Right. I like when they lean into that. When, what's her name? Genevieve, I think, was packing and they did the boom mic guy kind of seeing, I think it was her, seeing how many she had and like whatever. Like, I think that I like when they lean into stuff like that.
Definitely. And then we ended the episode, Victoria Fuller coming back, fresh off a relationship. It's been a while from Crystal's, but this should be interesting. Never forget.
Yeah, Jill had a moment with Justin, or Genevieve had a moment with Justin. Justin, another one I think is going to be kind of a hot commodity. He's very cute and very charismatic with his face and his memes. And you think, Genevieve is all happy that Justin's giving her the time of day, and then we get that Victoria F, and she's usually trouble.
Very, very much so. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But let's get into our social media moment of the week. Who caught your eye on social media this week?
Okay, I have a tweet from Genevieve and a tweet from Hunter, and it just goes along with what we were saying about Lace. And I thought it was funny that they both didn't know until they were watching that Lace was lying about her birthday. So Genevieve tweeted, "Not me just finding out it wasn't Lace's birthday." And Hunter wrote something very similar and said, I really thought it was Lace's birthday this entire time. I'm dead.
I love that so much.
The fact that the ruse never came out is funny. I love that Wells was clued in on it, and kind of picked up on it quick and was like, okay, Lace. That was like a highlight for me. All the Lace stuff. I want her on my TV all the time. All the time.
Mine went to Matt James because finally we got a picture of he and Tyler together. They seem to be, the bros are back. They are back on track. They posted some photos from Tyler's mom's gala. Of course, his mom passed away a few years ago, so they did this in honor of her. And Matt posted a really funny picture of Tyler and Rachel. He's like breaking up the fight between the two of them. It just looked like a really nice night, and I'm glad to see that the guys are back together.
Yeah, listen, they can blame the media all they want. There was something that happened there, and there was like a little bit of, I don't want to say a rift, but like you know, they weren't as close. And I get it. It's weird to answer questions about like your friend before the show and like his girlfriend. I understand, but they are lying if they are trying to pretend that there wasn't anything happening there. Cause I spoke to Tyler in person. We watched Matt all the time. So I'm like, this was not fake. They just like weren't as close. And then I liked that they played into it though. Mm-hmm. It was funny. And no one ever said, at least I feel like we never said like Rachel and Tyler hate each other.
Yeah.
They just like don't want to be the Three Musketeers that America wanted them to be. So I think it was funny they leaned into it. And like any more, you know, we're talking about Tyler's Mom's Foundation. I'm sure that's what they want. So happy for them.
Very happy for them and happy that Paradise is back. Sarah, who is on the podcast this week?
Deandra will be joining me today to break down this premiere. And I'm also catching up with Serena Pitt in a little bit. So I'm sure we'll have clips from her maybe next week. And hopefully we get some of these VIP people because I have a lot of questions already.
Lots of questions. And we can't wait to recap it each and every week. Sarah, thank you so much as always.
Thank you, Christina. I can't wait for two episodes next week, I think.
Oh my God, 2 episodes. Oh my God.
We'll see you guys on next Wednesday.
We'll love to see what you guys had to say about this week's premiere too. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.